Ferris State is in the semifinals at Tap Taggart Field, going up against 12-1 Newberry, a Newberry team that is coming off of a pretty decent win, especially in the playoffs as well. A 31-24 win over Albany State. They did end up beating West Florida, a pretty good West Florida team earlier in the playoffs, and then a pretty dominant win over Kentucky State University. But this is a Newberry team that is obviously fourth overall, at least when it comes to ranking with the last four teams in the semifinals. This is a Ferris State team coming in with a ton of confidence, and I think this is a Ferris State team that looks at what this Newberry team has done so far. There's obviously going to be a lot of respect for this Newberry team. They're 12-1 for a reason, right? Like, they're here for a reason. But this is also a Newberry team that, if you look at statistically on paper, I think it lines up pretty decently well with what this Ferris State team wants to do. And it truly starts out with the front line. It obviously starts and ends, in my opinion, with a lot of football games with the offense and defensive line. And I just see kind of a matchup where Ferris State should just dominate the defensive and offensive line. Like, this is a Newberry team that has struggled to run the ball throughout this year, only averages almost less than 100 yards a game running the ball. This is a Newberry team that is going to be pretty pass heavy. They average almost 400 yards through the air. Now, when you're going up against this Ferris State defense, especially this Ferris State defensive line, this is a team that gets a ton of pressure on the quarterback. And I think when it comes to just the overall game plan that Ferris State is going to have, I think that's going to be a big part of it. That's what's been really successful for this Ferris State team, is not only that, and forcing the other team to make mistakes. This is a Newberry team that, if you look at just the overall quarterback play, which are led by Reed Shapari, he has 6 interceptions this year. Now, he does have 29 touchdowns thrown, so if you look at kind of the touchdown to interception ratio, pretty solid overall, almost 3,700 yards throwing the ball. But at the same time, like, again, I don't think this is a Newberry team that has faced kind of the level of talent that this Ferris State team has. Now, they do have some talent, and they're a big reason why they're here. I think one of those really talented guys you have to mention is Keith DeSarcher. Sorry if that's way wrong. I apologize. Over 1,000 yards this year receiving, 10 touchdowns. He has been the go-to guy. Number 5 for this Newberry team. He's going to be an electric player. And I think this is going to be a big key in this game, is what can you do to prevent Keith from going off? You also have DeAndre Coleman as well, over 700 yards. They have quite a few guys, obviously, for the right reasons, with over 600 yards, 3 guys. Then after that, there's kind of a little bit of a drop-off when it comes to production-wise. But it's going to be those 3 guys. It's definitely going to put pressure on the secondary for Ferris, but I think the secondary is very good. They force, like I mentioned, other teams to make mistakes. Linebackers have been having quite a few interceptions in these games as well. And if you look at just what Newberry wants to do, especially running the ball, it's just not really there with this team. And even with that said, like, there's still a good offense, still an offense that averages over 30 points a game, still an offense that can put up points. But at the end of the day, when you're going up against a team like Ferris State, I think you're going to need a little bit more than just a passing attack to win this game. And I think that's a big reason why not only Ferris State wins this game, but I think if you look at what this Newberry team defensively has done, they've given up over 22 points a game on average. They gave up a little bit of yards on the ground, almost 171 yards on the ground as well. We've talked about this Ferris State team. They've been averaging 300-400 yards on the ground against even some pretty good opponents stopping the run. I think last opponent, they were about there, and I think they gave up almost 400 yards on the ground. This is going to be the way that Ferris State's going to attack, and it's the way they should attack. And even when they give up 171 yards on the ground, they still give up 184 yards through the air. And I don't think this Ferris State team's going to even need that. Ferris State hasn't had to have that. Ferris State hasn't had to throw the ball very efficiently because of just what they've done this year. It's just been about the ground and pound game. It's about this offensive line putting so much pressure on your defense. Then when it comes to the third or fourth quarter, they start leaning on you, just continue to lean on you, and it gets too tired, and they start making bigger and bigger holes and bigger plays. And I think you have multiple guys I've already mentioned throughout this whole season. Chase Carter, great this year. Like, he has been absolutely dominant. You have Carson Gulker. He's a guy that continues to just be a very key settling piece for this team. Brady Rose, Tariq Brett is a wide receiver that can get the ball in his hands and make plays. There's just been multiple guys, and it's really, truly starting out with this offensive line. I have not talked about this offensive line enough. They absolutely deserve a ton of credit. They have great talent, great playmakers. They have great skill guys at Ferris State. But this offensive line is just so dominant that you have to give the offensive line coach, Drew Burton, a ton of credit. He's just not only is a great offensive line coach, but he has truly kind of brought this offensive line to the next step. And I know that he follows me on Twitter, so if he's listening to this, great work, coach. I just love the group and the work that you put in. And I'm not just saying that because he does that. I'm not saying that just because he supports the podcast. I'm not just saying this because a lot of players do. I'm not. I just truly believe in this team. And until I see otherwise, this is going to be a team that is going to stick to its game plan. This is going to be a team that is going to run the ball. This is going to be a team that even if they struggle running the ball, which in their eyes are probably like 200 yards, like if Newberry does a good job of stopping the run, they can still throw the ball. They can still get stops defensively. This is a team that does not lose very many games at home. This is a team that is extremely talented from the starters to the backups to the third string to the fourth string. This is a team that will continue to throw guys at you. This is a team that will continue to force you to make mistakes. This is a team that will continue to lean on you. And this is a team that has done that throughout this playoffs. This is a Newberry team that, while they are talented, while they can throw the ball, while they have good wide receivers, while defensively they made some plays, this is a different beast when it comes to this Ferris State team. Now, with that being said, do I think there's a real possibility, or do I think there's any possibility that Ferris State could lose this game? Absolutely. It's football. Anything can happen. Newberry, I don't think was necessarily picked to get this far, but they have. They're playing well. They're playing really close games. When it's been close, they've been able to win those games. So if this is a close game, I'm going to kind of keep an eye on to see what happens. But this is a Ferris State team that I think is too talented. This is a Ferris State team that I think is too good. This is a defense that I think Ferris State needs to attack and should attack. This is an offense that sets up for how Ferris State wants to play defense. So because of those things, I think Ferris State wins this game. I think Ferris State goes back to the national championship. I think Ferris State is looking to repeat as national champions, and I think Tony Annese will have these guys ready. Offensive line will get a push. Offense will be great. Defense will make plays, and I think that's just too much for this Newberry team, and I think Ferris State dominates this winner, gets a win out of this one. So let me know in the comments, do you agree with me, disagree with me, all that kind of stuff. If you do, make sure to let me know, but make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff, and I will recap this game once it takes place.